Welcome back to Climates Meet the Methods. When discussing the climate crisis, everyone is aware of the major contributors like solar panels or trees, which help reduce and remove CO2. However, you might be surprised to learn that one of the most significant players in this effort is the ocean and its ecosystems. Since the Industrial Revolution, they have absorbed 1/3 of the emissions released from fossil fuels. Meet blue carbon. Blue carbon refers to carbon captured by the ocean and its coastal ecosystems, these being mangrove forests, tidal marshes, and seagrass meadows. They take up only 2% of the sea floor, yet they sequester half of the ocean's carbon, and we work with those three ecosystems here at Climate. Mangroves. Mangroves are a group of 80+ species of trees and shrubs that grow in coastal intertidal zones around the tropics and subtropics. They are recognizable by their distinctive pop roots. These roots slow the movement of water, which allows sediment to settle and accumulate, building up low oxygen soils beneath them. Seagrass meadows. Seagrasses can be found underwater in shallow coastal areas and in the brackish waters of estuaries where rivers meet the sea. They generally grow in large groups to make up meadows or beds. Seagrasses have stems with long green leaves that produce pollen and seeds and have roots that anchor them to the seafloor sand and help stabilize sediments. Tidal marshes. Tidal marshes are wetlands found near estuaries and coasts that flood and drain as the tides come in and recede. Contrary to mangroves, tidal marshes occur predominantly in temperate regions and at high latitudes. Coastal carbon storage. In blue carbon ecosystems, carbon is initially stored in the living plants and animals. However, the most secure long-term storage occurs in the soils and sediments. Carbon enters these soils through plant roots and remains there even after the plants die, as their carbon-rich remains, known as necromass, become part of the soil. These coastal areas are often waterlogged, which limits oxygen availability and slows down the decomposition of dead plant material, effectively locking carbon in the soil for thousands of years.
The advantages and criticisms of coastal blue carbon. I'll talk about some of the advantages for coastal blue carbon. Many of these complex ecosystems are home to many plants and animals that have a very intricate relationship. For example, the mangrove roots, they provide vital protection and nutrients to young fish, which give a very clear ecological value. And this value itself transcends over to economical and community value for those that live on the fishing sector for their livelihood. The root systems of these ecosystems also stabilize the coastline, preventing soil erosion and protecting against loss of life and property. This provides a very clear benefit for climate resilience, especially in the tropical and subtropical regions that are highly susceptible to climate change effects. There have also been advancements in research that have helped improve the accuracy of carbon measurements, and integrating these measures with a digital MRV system can greatly improve the transparency. And what's more, benefits all come at very low cost. I'll talk about some of the concerns with coastal blue carbon now. The permanence of this method is quite low. Usually the carbon removal itself lasts only as long as the project or the forest itself. And this becomes particularly challenging because coastal regions are prime locality for development. And I think you also end up in a bit of a catch-22 situation where these same ecosystems that are supposed to provide resilience with storm surges and rising sea levels tend to become more vulnerable as the severity of climate change effects increases, thus making them more vulnerable to the rising tides and also to extreme weather events.
In conclusion, blue carbon is a natural carbon removal method that is extremely powerful. However, sadly, these ecosystems are at risk and are being destroyed at alarming rates, so we must invest in them now and protect them from all damage.